Hey folks, welcome to the Positively No Outlet podcast. I'm your host, George Wood, for the podcast that takes you to meet people doing good work in small towns across the country. Today we're going to visit Amesville in Chesterhill, Ohio for some good food at two great diners. But before we get started, let me welcome our sponsor for this episode, Harvest Hosts and Boondockers Welcome. When the No Outlet team is on the road, we usually travel with Harvest Hosts and Boondockers Welcome. They're a network of great places to stay when you travel. It works this way. For an annual fee, you get access to over 6,000 great places to park your RV. I'm talking about farms, ranches, breweries, orchards, museums, golf courses, all sorts of nice places. I have met some great people both while traveling with Harvest Hosts and Boondockers Welcome and hosting guests at our farm, which is a Harvest Host location. We hope you check them out. You can do that by going to our website at www.positivelynooutlet.com and clicking on the Harvest Host Boondockers Welcome icons. If you join up using our site, they'll give you 15% discount on your membership. So check it out, and maybe we'll run into you at one of their friendly hosts. Now, if you've come along before with us on our podcast, you know I love to eat in small, out-of-the-way diners. It's where you find the best food and some interesting conversation. Today I want to take you to two of the No Outlet team's favorites, Parks Place Kitchen and the Triple Nickel Diner. I did not have to hook up Charlie, that's my travel trailer that I ride around the country with, to get to these places. Triple Nickel's only 15 miles from my house, and Parks, well, it's only 3 blocks away. So while you listen to some of David's guitar picking, I'm going to walk over to Parks. Damien, bring up the music. I'll see you all there. Okay, so here we are at Parks Place Kitchen in Amesville, my hometown. Amesville's a small town. There are 171 of us that live here, but it has a really big reputation. It was home to the first library in the Northwest Territories, and escaping slaves were sheltered here at a place called Elephant Rock. There's more, but today I want to focus, as I often do, on food and the good eats and good deeds served up here at Parks. Parks is the undertaking of Josh Vernon, a hometown boy. In fact, he's the same age as one of my sons, and I remember them running the neighborhood or camped out in our living room, carrying on all-day games of Risk. Parks is his way of giving back to the community that gave so much to him. Our little town has had several restaurants try and fail in the location Josh has taken over. Josh and his family have moved in with the mission to use local food, hire local people, and give locals a place to gather. Really, why don't I just let Josh jump in here and tell you the story himself?
Obviously, we bought this old building here in town. My wife and I bought this building. Okay. And then my cousin, Corey, who you just mentioned, him and I opened the restaurant. Corey had some experience in culinary. He had a passion in culinary. Mine was more, I wanted to do something with this old building in town. I wanted to do something for the community. Obviously, there was kind of a bad run of restaurants in this building, and the town was kind of starving for something that would sustain.
Right.
And so I had a passion for that. I had experience in customer service. So that was kind of my piece of the puzzle. His was the culinary piece. So we put our heads together, and then my wife, Rachel, she has accounting background. So the three of us together kind of made the team made sense.
And you grew up in Amesville?
Yes, I grew up in Amesville, and Corey spent every summer in Amesville.
Right.
You know, he lived about 30 minutes away at the time. But every summer he was here when school was out. He was on the farm with us, hanging out, causing trouble.
Don't believe that part about Josh causing trouble. He didn't cause trouble. He was a good kid. In fact, I think all the kids in Amesville are good kids. The town loves them, and they love the town. And when they get a chance, they give back, and that's what Josh is doing with Parks. Part of the mission is to support local agriculture and local vendors. They've made a real commitment to supporting and using local food. And in fact, here's Josh again. Here he explains what they're trying to do. Now, you guys source a lot of stuff locally, right? I mean, even the tables here.
Yeah. So a lot of things. So there's a lot of farm-to-table restaurants, especially in Athens County and all over the nation now. But we kind of wanted to try to take it to the next level. We wanted to source, if possible, we wanted to source everything.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not possible. Certain things just don't thrive here.
Sure.
We started there, and really the end game for me, because my real experience other than customer service is in agriculture, and I want to be to the point where we have our own farm that supplies a lot of it.
Got it.
Especially with some of the farmers that we source our meat from. A lot of them are getting older and starting to phase out. So that's going to open the door, hopefully, if all goes well, for me to kind of step in and pick up, carry the torch when they step out. But yeah, to answer the question, we use, just looking while we're sitting here, the coffee we serve here is roasted about 10 minutes away.
Right.
The tea, same company makes the tea.
Right.
Honey, we have 2 or 3 different honey suppliers that we source from throughout the year. Maple syrup, we source that from a guy that's right down the road from where I live. All of our beef, 100% of our beef is sourced locally. And I would say about 90% of our pork is sourced locally. And 100% of our chicken is sourced locally. Nice. And then, like you mentioned, the tables, even to that level, we had the tabletops made by your son, a local woodworker. We had there's other little things too. We've even started a little market up in the front windows that gives a small but hopefully effective platform.
And the milk, I noticed there's a dairy nearby.
That's right. The milk
the dairy's all on the farm.
Yes, they own the cows. It's an old, like what you would picture in the old days, a farm where they own the cows, they make the milk all on the same property.
So you can see that Josh takes local sourcing of his food and supplies, even the tables in the restaurants, seriously. But it's not just sourcing those things. As I've found in many small towns, it's true at Parks, it's about providing jobs for local people. And that's because Josh focuses on employing folks that live around here. And, of course, that includes his own family. I'm going to let him, again, tell you about that. And, by the way, during this little segment, we're going to get interrupted by his son, Cameron, but I didn't have the heart to edit the boy out of the tape. How many people do you have working?
Now we have, we are up to, we have 4 waitresses on staff, and then we have 5, 6, 7.
You're not tall.
Hand over his mouth. You said I can't talk.
He said I can't talk. That's right. He got the message.
It's Josh's son, folks.
Yeah, we're family friendly here. we So yeah, he just had to have a cameo here.
Yeah, there you go.
I believe we're up to 15 on staff.
Nice.
If I'm counting right.
Yeah, great.
Right.
And most of them from the area.
Almost all of them, and at least a fourth of them are family. So that's,
right.
Again, family-owned business. We're a small town, and the people we've inherited have become family.
There you go.
It's just, that's the vibe we try to have.
So this local staff that Josh has talked about, I want you to know they're a lot of fun, too. Everybody seems to know everybody when you come into the restaurant. The staff acts like they've never met a stranger, even people that just drop in from far away are welcomed with a smile and a cheerful greeting and a, hey, what brings you to town? I thought it'd be fun for you to maybe meet a few of these folks. So what we're going to do now is we're going to first take a trip back to the bakery. That's where Tessa is working all her magic. I think you heard she bakes all the bread products, everything from buns to bread to sweet rolls. And then we're going to hit the kitchen and meet Nina and Rachel. So here we go. Walk with me. Meet some interesting people here. Tell me about you baked all these buns this morning, right?
Yeah.
Your recipe, right?
Yep.
Nice. What's your favorite thing to bake in the place? When you think, all right, this is what I really love doing.
Bread.
Bread.
Yep.
And what types?
Sourdough especially. Sourdough's fun. Just the fermentation and everything. Yeah.
Nice. How you like working here? Because the boss is standing right here.
Oh, I hate it.
Okay, good. Glad
Yeah,
to hear it.
no, it's horrible.
All right.
She'll be honest.
It's great. It's great.
See, I told you you'd enjoy meeting us folks. Now, all this, local food, community connections, local employees, that's all a good thing. But it wouldn't matter if the food wasn't good. And let me tell you, it's really good. Like you just heard, if you stopped in tonight for dinner, you'd choose between the catfish and the brisket. And the brisket is smoked on site. And if you want brisket, you better get here before 6:30 because it goes really, really fast. They also do some wonderful pizzas with lots of local fresh ingredients, steaks, a wide array of sandwiches. For breakfast, you might just want to try the scrambled mess. Yeah, that's eggs, tomatoes, spinach, onions, zucchini, all mixed up together, topped with Parmesan cheese. Hey, are you drooling yet? And there's some great side dishes. They come from family recipes, like the bacon Brussels sprouts and Grandma's slaw. The Nashville hot chicken sandwich is one of my personal favorites. But there is a particular special that you can, I think, only get at Parks that I want you to hear about. So here's Josh, but I'll just let him tell you. And once in a while, speaking of specials, did I see a morel burger the other day? Tell us about the morel burger.
Last spring was the first time we had done it. Corey wanted to do it the first year we were open, but of course, as we mentioned earlier, the pandemic kind of put a hold on everything. So last year when we reopened in the spring, because of what's native to this area, we ran an Appalachian burger. And on the Appalachian burger is Tessa's burger buns that she makes fresh.
Yeah.
A half-pound patty that is 50% beef and 50% venison.
Oh.
A slice of provolone cheese.
Yeah.
And then on top it has a burger sauce made out of... It's basically our house-made burger sauce with ramps infused into it. Yes. And then the kicker on the top is pan-fried morel mushrooms. Yes. It's an expensive burger, but it's a very popular burger, and it's
only available for a few short weeks in the spring.
That's
in beautiful Amesville, Ohio. So if you're hankering for that, folks, yeah. Ah, yes, the Appalachian burger. Just one more reason to visit Parks Place Kitchen in Amesville. Josh has plans to expand, and we all hope it works for him. The town has been dry for forever, as far as we know, but recently a bunch of us voted in an exemption so that they'll be serving beer and wine in the near future. They're going to add a little bar to the side of the restaurant where an auto repair shop once was. And Josh also wants to add a stage for live music, thinking it'll continue to bring people to Amesville so they can see what a great little town it is. Now, I was getting ready to leave, and on the way out the door, I had to stop and talk to Cameron, who had been so patient while I was talking with his dad. He's a regular. Maybe you should hear about the place from his perspective. I'll let him close this segment.
I'm Cameron.
Cameron, do you own this restaurant?
Yeah.
You do? Yeah, okay. You're the boss, right?
Yeah.
What's the favorite part of owning a restaurant, man?
Of helping.
Do you get to eat anything you want? Yeah, he's nodding. Just wait, you have to talk. I can't record you.
And they let me do anything.
Anything?
Yeah, even not. They let me take a break whenever I want.
Oh, well, good. What's your favorite thing to do in the restaurant?
Like when it's closed, I like to play a little.
Got it. What are you having this morning for breakfast?
Strawberries and yogurt with blueberries and blackberries.
Nice.
And
thanks for talking.
Strawberries and yogurt.
Thanks for talking to me.
You're welcome.
Say what?
You want your usual?
Oh, yeah.
Yep, a half order oats, everything, no chocolate chips.
Yeah, how'd you know?
Because you get it every time.
So that was me ordering my usual breakfast at the Triple Nickel Diner in Chesterhill, Ohio. As you can guess, I'm a pretty regular diner there. I don't even usually get a menu. The diner's named after Ohio State Route 555, as in the Triple Nickel. It's a curvy, windy road that runs through southeastern Ohio that motorcyclists, sports car drivers, Jeep drivers, all sorts of folks love running it, spending a day on the curves through the hills. It's one of the reasons that Kathy Strode, who started the Triple Nickel, thought it would work. She knew these folks needed a place to eat, and in fact, it's worked quite well. Kathy owns the diner, runs it with her daughter, Rosie Berardi. They opened it in 2016. It was a homecoming of sorts for Kathy, who had been gone for 40 years. I'll let her tell you the story. As if. So yeah, tell me about why the Triple Nickel is in Chesterhill. It's not a big town. It's kind of out of the way. What got you here?
I grew up here.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I grew up here. My first job was a waitress at a little restaurant that was not in this area, this spot, but right on the main street. It's called Robin's Roost. And I was 15. And I worked there until I was finished with nursing school. And then I was gone for 40 years, and I came back to stay with my parents and help them. And my dad and mom used to come out to this little diner to visit their friends. And my dad said, "Why don't you start up that diner again so I have some place to go?"
Thanks, Dad.
And I tossed it around a little bit, but I had never thought that would be something I would do. But I told him, after he kept saying that for about a year, and we lived on 555.
Okay.
So we heard a lot of motorcycles going by all the time when we were out in the garden, and sports cars. And I said, well, they do need some place to stop, because I knew Chesterhill couldn't support a restaurant. It had closed like 5 times.
Was this building a restaurant when you got it?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it was vacated when I got it. I bought it from the bank.
Okay. But it had been a restaurant.
It had been a restaurant.
It's been closed for about 6 years.
Okay.
And
really, that long?
And probably 4 times it had, different people would start it up and be open a couple years and close it up. But they never used local, they never sourced locally. And I said, well, if I did that, I would, get all the meat from local, and there's gardens everywhere. And then we had the Chesterhill produce auction. So I said, well, I'll buy the building, and then I'll see if I can lease it out to somebody who wants to start a restaurant, and I would help them source locally.
Okay. Somebody's laughing. Rosie, were you somebody she had in mind?
No, she had other people in mind. She was going to rent it out to somebody who had owned a restaurant before.
And they moved all of their stuff in. But then 2 years they didn't do anything, so I had to get them out. And I said, I'll just do it myself. So that's how we started. And Rosie came to help me open up. So I had it all ready.
I had just graduated nursing school. We'd been working for about 2 years as a nurse.
So
I had no intention of doing this.
I just went ahead and designed it as a restaurant, still thinking somebody that knew what they were doing might lease it.
And instead you did it.
And instead I did it. And Rosie came to help me do the soft openings and just to get opened up. And she was going to run the dining room while I ran the kitchen, just until we got established. We never got established, I guess, because she's still here.
Yeah. I don't know. Breakfast that I eat tells me you're pretty well established. And the Triple Nickel is pretty well established. There's lots of road rallies. They even plan their rallies around when they can land at the Nickel for lunch or for dinner. The restaurant does use local ingredients. Kathy's been serious about local sourcing, so much so There's a giant garden out back. You can look out the back of the diner windows some days and see Kathy out there harvesting what's going to end up on the plates later. They buy fresh vegetables from local producers. There's a produce auction in Chesterhill. They go there and buy tons of food. Meats and eggs come from several local farms. In fact, on the menu, you'll find burgers that are named after the farms that raise the food. But you know what? Just as importantly, just like with Parks Place over in Amesville, there's an emphasis on using local help. Here they are, Rosie and Kathy, discussing that. And so you don't only try to local source meats and vegetables and things. I know you work pretty hard to hire folks from Chesterhill. Wasn't that in your recent ad or something?
We do. We have a policy, especially with the dishwashing positions, it doesn't require a ton of skill or previous experience. If you come in and ask to be a dishwasher, you're hired right away if you live within Chesterhill or even out to like Stockport area. We'll hire anybody for that position right from the area. And for any other positions, if a potential person comes in and says they work here, they get the first interview.
If they're from Chesterhill.
If they're from Chesterhill.
Got it.
That doesn't always mean for some of the more skilled positions that we won't hire somebody with a greater skill, but we'll always interview local people first.
Because there's not much of a job market.
There's
in
not,
Chesterhill.
And it's super important to us to have that participation. It's not just it's convenient they live close, but they have more invested in the community already. So when they start participating in our business, they already feel a different connection. They already have a different responsibility to the community and the people here, and knowing who's coming in, knowing what people around here will like and how they can contribute to our menu and our food and our customer base and things like that. So it's a little selfish in the sense that we really like having people close to work, but
sure.
But also, the whole point is to support the economy, whether we're doing that through sourcing food or hiring locally or, getting people here for other businesses by being a destination.
Oh my, the pies. I'm so glad we got to the pies. I did have a slice of strawberry pie later that day. You always need to leave room for pie when you eat at the Triple Nickel. Now, that can be hard to do because the food is really, really good. The bacon wrapped meatloaf, incredible. The fish it's all fresh fish. It's wild caught. It's hand breaded and fried. You can't get it any better around here. There's specials like chicken marsala. And the other day there was beef tenderloin wrapped in asparagus. My, oh my. Are you drooling yet? Oh, there's also breakfast. I want to encourage you to get there for breakfast. On Thursday mornings, a group of us meet there for breakfast. My buddy Roger, he always orders the sweet and savory. That's a combination of eggs, pancakes, sausage. Yeah, you get the picture. So things are going really well for the Triple Nickel and the Nickel Heads, as they like to be called. That's what you call the employees. They all wear T-shirts saying, I'm a Nickel Head. So well that they've expanded. They've added an outdoor eating space across the street, which is great. It's a beautiful picnic area. And more expansion is on the way.
And we do have some goals.
Yeah, what's next? Here we go.
Yeah.
This is the first.
We've got some 5 or 10 year goals. We'd really love to put a deck off the building on the back.
Oh, yeah.
A little bit more accessible for our staff, just a little bit more connected, overlooking the garden, incorporating that space a little bit more into our business. Bye, guys. That would be really important to us. We've talked about expanding into the back in the next 5 or 10 years. We've got a lot of storage space back there right now is all it's used for, but it has plenty of space to become a banquet space or some kind of venue for like a meeting room or something like that, which we get asked about all the time because there's not really anything available around here. So yeah, those are both down the road. And then of course our guest house is kind of an expansion.
Is that next to the picnic tables?
No, it's
that's the one you guys...
Yeah, it's the old slaughterhouse right off the back of the restaurant.
Oh, okay.
We'd love to turn that into like a little guest house for travelers, people riding 555, deer hunters, anybody really.
Right, nice.
So, yeah, those are our 3 kind of in the future projects.
we put it out in the community what we should name that little guest house. The slaughterhouse was one of the names. That
I think so.
Back.
Yeah, I think what are you going to say? A slaughterhouse.
Some people think it would scare people away, but I think it's intriguing enough to get people to stay there.
And that's what it was.
Yeah,
so.
It's part of the history.
Yeah.
You could play some, Alfred Hitchcock music in there to really make them feel comfortable.
Just don't get in the shower.
You could, no.
So yeah, we've got some good dreams.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. It's always good to see you guys.
Yeah,
Food's always good.
Thank you.
I don't even have to order anymore. I just sit down and the usual.
Finally got the chocolate chips worked out of here.
Yeah, they surprised me with those ones. That's all that happened. It wasn't good. All right. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you, George.
Hey, I hope you've enjoyed traveling with me over to Parks Place Kitchen and the Triple Nickel Diner today. And I think you probably understand why we called this episode Good Food Doing Good, because not only do these places serve great food, but they're doing good in their community. They're making a difference where they are. I really hope you think about stopping in at Parks or out at the Triple Nickel. Come out and have an Appalachian burger or grab a slice of strawberry pie. By the way, if there's no strawberry pie available, there's also my second favorite is coconut cream, so you can order up one of those. And I tell you what, I'll make you a deal. If you're not from around here, if you don't live in this area, and you do make a trip to the Nickel or to Parks, you tell Kathy or Josh or Rosie that you heard about them here on this podcast. And if you do, they're going to serve you at the end of your meal a dessert. They're going to serve you a pie or something delicious, and they're just going to put it on my tab. Yeah, I want you to enjoy our little towns and our little diners that mean so much to us while you're out on the road finding an outlet for your creative juices. See you on down the road.
Hi, Damien here. Please allow me just a few moments of your time to explain our goal in seeking out sponsorship for our podcast. The Positively No Outlet podcast is a collaboration of friends dedicated to bringing you stories from rural America that you may not get from other places. Stories of people we feel are special, doing ordinary and sometimes extraordinary things. P&O is a labor of love, yet we do have some production and publication expenses, and that is why we are considering sponsors, to help offset those costs so we can focus our resources on getting the stories. We strive to make sure we believe in our sponsors, and this episode's sponsor, Harvest Host and Boondockers Welcome, is one we've enjoyed using ourselves and do highly recommend to you. Harvest Hosts and Boondockers Welcome are a membership-based service providing connections to RV camping at nearly 3,700 wineries, breweries, farms, and other attractions where they invite RVers to stay overnight, with no charge for those overnight stays. And now that Harvest Hosts and Boondockers Welcome have joined hands, you can get the best of both in one membership package. In fact, if you travel to the Amesville area with your RV, as you experience Parks Place and the Triple Nickel for yourself, you might check out Boondockers Welcome host Amesville Farm Stay and maybe even meet our podcast host while you're there. To learn more about Harvest Hosts and Boondockers Welcome, please visit our website at positivelynoutlet.com and scroll down to the links near the bottom. And if you subscribe through our links and use the codes provided, the good folks at Harvest Host Boondockers Welcome are going to take 15% off the cost of your membership. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Positively No Outlet podcast. This episode was written by George Wood, music by David Lackey, engineered and produced by Damian Vaughn. If you like what you heard, please go to positivelynooutlet.com or wherever you obtain your podcasts, subscribe, and hear more in the future. Again, thanks for listening, and we'll see you on down the road.